This is a Windows Phone 7 game review of Puzzle Quest 2, which is an Xbox Live title and available in the marketplace for $6.99. So this game is essentially a Bejeweled-like game, but it has some really interesting RPG elements mixed into it. And the load time is actually really reasonable here. I won't even cut through anything, it's already loaded. And so there's two gameplay modes here. Single player or just mini games, which you can compete to like unlock spells or bash open doors. Those are all just elements taken from the main single player game there, so that if you like something you can jump in and play it. So here's the single player, and you can create a number of different heroes to play as, and then you can increase their scores and other things like that, and upgrade their armor and their weapons and a bunch of other stuff. So if we continue here, you can always change the difficulty at any time. I actually have it set at easy because honestly this game is actually challenging me. That's the first game I've ever set to easy. And you can look at your inventory here. So this is where you can see all your skills there that you've upgraded, and what armor you're wearing, what weapons you have loaded on, and you can change the weapons, and they all have different abilities to them, like this one. Usually if you tap and hold a weapon, it gives you info about it. Yep, there we go. So it takes 9 of those fists to actually be able to use your weapon, which you'll see later, and it damages 6 hits on your enemy. So here we go. Let's actually jump into a battle. You can also do a quick battle if you're just looking to have some fun quickly, or you can also change your spells here, which are really essential to the gameplay actually. They make a huge difference. If you don't use them wisely, you'll actually lose battles. So here's the quest that I'm in the middle of right now, and it looks like an RPG game here. You can click on an enemy to go fight him, or cancel that. Or your quests, if you're on a quest, it'll have a question mark over where you're supposed to go. So we can enter the North Tower. And here we are. We need to get something out of this big block of goo. We're looking for a jewel. So when you battle anything, or when you try to bash open a door or anything, it always loads this thing here, which is just Bejeweled. In a second. So this is really just Bejeweled here, but you're actually playing against someone, which completely changes the gameplay. So on the right, they have their health up there, and then on the left you have your health here, and he already damaged me 3 points. So you can hurt your enemy by various different ways. First of all, you'll collect things over here so that you can use your magic. Like I unlocked Pummel now, so I can click Pummel, and for every 2 jewels there, it'll damage him. So if you get 4 of a type, then you also get another turn, and stuff like that. So there's a great variety in these battles, and you have to use your magic wisely. Like this one can create red gems, which you could use to get 4 of a kinds and 5 of a kinds and stuff like that. The only problem, as you see in this game, is it's really laggy with the visuals when that's happening. And that's really disappointing on this game here. But otherwise, the controls work pretty well for this. And the gameplay actually becomes pretty addicting when you're fighting these enemies that actually challenge you quite a bit. You have to think about what moves you should do and actually what gems you should go for if you want to use your magic spells over there, which you'll need to use in order to win. And if you don't power up your character wisely, you're definitely gonna lose. So it's a really interesting game in that aspect. It's just disappointing that the visuals aren't as good of a quality as you would expect. However, the music in the game is really great. That's one thing that I love about the game. The music really carries you through the entire game. And as you can see, you can use spells like this one, Skull Crusher, which will actually paralyze your enemy for a little while so that he doesn't get to take turns. As you see, he's stunned. And so then I can go again, and I can make a move. Let's go for that one. And he's still stunned. And another way that you can damage your enemies is by getting 3 a row of those skulls. Or by collecting those fists there, and then those fists go to your weapon reserve up here, which you can use once you hit the limit on your weapon, and then you can attack them with that. Like here's the skulls, for example, and it attacks them there. But sometimes enemies block it, and it only damages them half of that. So depending on what enemy you're fighting, they'll also use spells on you that can hurt you and do other stuff. There's some sneak attack spells and other things that you have to watch out for. And so in the settings here, you might want to change one thing. It's this option, the guide icon, which if you have it set to the default one, which is just short, then it'll suggest a piece to move like nearly instantly. So that kind of takes the fun out of the game because it's telling you what to do basically. So you might want to change that. The game will actually last you a really long time and has a lot of side missions that you can compete in, some side quests and other things, and a really great variety of enemies that actually shake up the gameplay. And there's even things like breaking down doors that you have to work at, which add new elements to the gameplay too. So you can expect to get probably like 5 hours of gameplay out of this, I'd say. It depends on how good you are at solving these puzzles and just how fast you play them overall, and if you do the side quests or if you don't do the side quests. But overall, Puzzle Quest 2 is actually a pretty impressive game that definitely delivers. Although the visuals are pretty bad, the gameplay actually makes up for it. And if you're a fan of Bejeweled, this is a lot like Bejeweled, but I think the variation of actually playing against someone actually makes it worth it. It is a lot pricier than the Bejeweled game at $6.99, but it provides a lot more lasting entertainment here. So if you can live with the persistent lag found in Puzzle Quest, you'll definitely want to pick up this game. You can find it in the marketplace for $6.99.